Welcome back. With the Big 12 tournament coming up later this week, the debate for college basketball's best conference is still in question. The Big 10 currently has 5 teams in the latest AP Top 25, while the Big 12 has 7 ranked teams. Both conferences are expected to have a lot of teams in the NCAA tournament this year, but which conference will perform better? I'm joined by Ryan Atchison and Jerome Sweeney to debate.
I like the Big 10 this year. I really do. They're a conference, like Jacob said, 5 AP Top 25 teams, and one of the teams I really like this year is Illinois. They got 9 quad 1 wins, and that's the most of any team in the country, and they're legit. Ayo Dosunmu, the junior, he is literally a star in the making. I mean, this guy could be possibly a top pick in the NBA if he chooses to go that route. They got a good center in Kofi Cockburn, who's averaging a double-double this year, and they got a great three-point shooter in Adam Miller. I mean, this team is legit, and I wasn't really high on this team at the beginning of the year, but this team is really looking good, and I'm looking forward to Illinois this year.
My problem with Illinois is, like you said, you weren't high on them early in the year, and I know what they can do, and you look on the Big 12 side, they have 7 teams in the top 25 right now. Baylor Bears are a really good basketball team, maybe a historic basketball team, with Jared Butler, Davion Mitchell, Matthew Meyer, Flo Thamba. I think genuinely Baylor Bears are the best team in the country, and they're going to win the national championship, and it's not going to be close.
Very good point. Baylor is really good. I like Baylor. The question is, will they do well in March? Scott Drew's never done well in March, but this team might be the
And this is for sure the best Baylor Bears team that we've seen. Going back to Illinois, I think just the inconsistencies that they had earlier in the year are just going to be an absolute – it could derail them early in the tournament. I think, they could be a first weekend upset team potentially if, they can't figure it out and play good basketball in March.
True. Both teams, though, are projected to be 1 seed so long as they don't have an exit early. Well, let's dive into more of our next team up, and I like the Iowa Hawkeyes. The last couple weeks, though, they've kind of been on a fluctuating roller coaster. They've lost some good games. They've had some great wins. But I like Luka Garza this year. He's going to be possibly a National Player of the Year this year. He's been one of the top scorers in all of college basketball this year. And they got a senior-led team, and they got some of the coaches' sons on that team that are actually really good. And I like Iowa. They're not really rated as a top seed right now. They're not they were on the 1 line earlier in the year. Now they're more like a 2 or maybe a 3. But this team could do some damage in the distance.
So, we can't deny that Iowa's a good basketball team, but, the injuries. Iowa suffers a tremendous amount of injuries, and it proves vital for them. They lose games because of injuries, so if they can stay healthy, they can succeed in the tournament. If they get hurt, I don't think they're a legit team at all. As you look on the Big 12 side, the University of Kansas is coming out hot right now. They are hot, and they are ready to play basketball. Jalen Wilson's looking great. Ochai Agbaji is looking great. Ochai Agbaji is playing defense. Marcus Garrett is a staple in that lineup. David McCormick is absolutely balling out right now. Christian Braun's playing better. He's becoming a two-way basketball player, which KU's needed. So I think the Kansas Jayhawks honestly have the potential to, be a Final Four, Elite Eight team, and it's not even getting I think they would beat Iowa by at least 10 points, I would think.
That could be. Kansas, though, does struggle early. They play a little slow early. I noticed that if they don't get McCormack feeding in early, they kind of struggle a bit. And once they can find the rhythm, then they're hot. But if Iowa can start getting off on a really good start and they feed Luka Garza, that could give KU
Besides the Garza-McCormick matchup, which obviously Garza takes an advantage in, I think KU matches up great with Iowa. I think we really do, and I think we have a legitimate chance of, taking the steps and passing the top 10 Big Ten or the top Big Ten teams that are in the tourney this year.
That could be. And real quick, let's talk about one of our sleepers we have in this tournament. I got Michigan State. And Michigan State's kind of been having a down year throughout the whole year, but they beat Michigan this last week or so, and they had 3 top 5 wins, and that's the most of any other team. Only the other rest of the teams only have 1, and that's amazing. I think this team could do some damage late in this tournament, and they might be a sleeper in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, there's no kidding. They've definitely overtaken the Indiana Hoosiers in that Big Ten race, and I think they're legitimately, they deserve to be in the tournament, and they have upset potential written all over them for higher ranked teams. But in the Big 12, it's hard to look past the best player in the country, and Cade Cunningham is an absolute stud. He doesn't come off the floor for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. He's just hits threes. He delivers the ball. Yeah, I mean, he's a fluent player, and I think he's one of the most fun players to watch. And he has game takeover potential to where he can take over games and he can show the country that he's the best player in the upcoming draft. And this is where he's going to make his run for the top pick in the NBA draft. Is in the NCAA tournament with the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And I think if they can win some games in the Big 12 tournament and have some success in the actual tournament, and Cade Cunningham can ball out like we all know that he can, it's going to be very, very hard to make him not the number 1 draft pick in next year's NBA draft.
That's very true. Well, that's all the time we have for today. We'll throw it back to Jacob for the conclusion.
Well, thank you for joining us. As always, head over to Sided.co and the Sided Debates app to put up your own debates and arguments. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, Sided at TakeAsideKU. For all of us here at Take a Side, I'm Jacob Polacheck, and we'll see you again next week.